Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. Finally, we took a week off last week because I was fucking shattered. Matt was ill.
And I was coughing up blood and bleeding from my face.
Wow.
Ooh,
Jesus,
Yeah.
that does not sound good.
that's grim.
Yeah,
That
I
doesn't-
was
that's-
dead. And then Friday I was fine in stream, so very nice.
Phil was also taking a week off from streaming, and Bob, in a quite sad way, was just like, "I'll
just sleep
do
early
something."
then.
Yeah, so I just took the night off from things.
Life.
Yeah.
So, guys, just before we start properly, we have sort of tweaked the audio balances a little bit. So, if there's any problems, if anybody's too quiet, please let me know and I'll fix it as we go. Basically, I was kind of listening back to the podcast as it was editing up, not last week's, but the week before, and I was like, I am super loud and everybody's super quiet. And I've been told by people who I know in real life watch it that like it kind of the balance is off. So, if anything's wrong, just let me know and we'll fix it. For our listeners, we are live on Twitch doing this, so you guys will be hearing a recording. God, I knew we made it through the first 10 minutes without making a fucking mistake. Shit.
Wouldn't be a misadventure.
So we're also changing things up a little bit from this week onwards. So what we're going to do from now on is instead of just sort of like having a set schedule of like news and stuff that we found interesting that specifically relates to gaming, we've decided that things are quiet. It's on the run up to E3, so gaming's kind of gone a bit quiet and there's not really a lot happening. So we decided to kind of expand it a little bit and go for sort of TV, music, movies, games, kind of just pop culture and whatever kind of takes our fancy. And we're all going to bring some bits and pieces that we found interesting throughout the week, and we're just going to talk about them and go from there. So like the what have you done this week is kind of just going to be that, but we're just going to expand that so that it's basically the entire show. So Bob, you've got some stuff ready to go. So do you want to get started?
So, yeah, I'm happy to start off. So, first thing I'd like to report is I had some cheesecake at lunchtime and it was fucking delicious.
Nice.
For actually something relating to the channel, shall I start with the big bombshell or will I start with the Metro stuff?
It's up to you, man. Whatever you fancy.
Alright. Let's start with the Metro stuff. So, Phil, I think you've probably noticed me playing Metro 2033.
I have noticed that, yes.
Yep. I got that. I got it with Last Light, I think's the other one. And I also got the audiobook at the same time, so I'm playing the game and reading the book at the same time, or listening to the book at the same time, which is an interesting one, because normally it's like films and books have adaptations of each other, and you'll read one or watch one first, and then you form opinions, like which one's better, and almost everyone says, the book's better, because reasons. So I'm kind of seeing a new perspective on the whole narrative of the same story through different mediums.
Just on that before you continue as well, I think when you take a book and make it a game, there's a lot more scope there to kind of fit everything in as well, because because books are a long commitment. Not all of them, but there is a commitment time there. Whereas a film, you're going to watch it for 2 hours and that's it. You take a game from that, you can kind of just go, well, actually, we could just put everything from the book in, because games are a longer medium. There's a time investment in there.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing, though, I'm noticing about this is it could just be the settings. I picked on like the action-oriented settings and put everything on easy just for my first playthrough, because I want to enjoy the game. There's definitely a lot more fighting in the game naturally, because it'd be a pretty dull game if the fight scenes are all kind of pre-scripted. And obviously the book builds a lot more on the characters because you get more conversation out of them. You get more detailed description you might not spot in a game, or the game engine simply can't render because it doesn't do facial animations the same as the likes of LA Noir, you know.
We are getting there, though.
We're getting there, slowly but surely.
I'll say that much for Anthem, that it's some of the best facial mocap I've seen in a long time. The animations in that are fantastic.
Contrary to the start of, was it Andromeda?
Andromeda, yeah.
Or it was a bit, yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
Drama. But yeah, no, it's like, yeah.
When I was playing Crisis 2 a second time, well, it wasn't the second time around, but a couple of weeks back, one of the things I noticed was there's dialogue coming from characters, and if they weren't main characters, there was no animation.
That's still standard practice these
days. It's pretty standard, but it's the first time I'd noticed it in that game.
Yeah.
And I reckon it's probably because I was paying attention to it, and it just looked so fucking weird.
Yeah.
I was just like, there's a voice coming from there, but no movement. Anything is not even a head bob associated with talking. It was just perfectly still, rigid. And yeah, I was just like, okay, that does look really weird. And I don't know why I've never really picked up on that before. And I reckon it is because there are plenty of games now that have advancements in just general face animation. That give the illusion of
a bigger scope and budget for these sort of things as well.
Yeah.
So like, you know, a lot of times where they don't bother animating secondary characters is because they can't afford to. So they just give them sort of like, you know, they give them
default.
Enough. Yeah, like you'll see like maybe 3 or 4 different ways that the mouth will be, and it's just like a flat texture. Now the budgets are there and people have got more scope to do these things. So
yeah, but this is Crisis 2, which wasn't small budget, and there was no animation of any kind. It was just the face was.
Then you think about how good Crisis looks overall.
Yeah,
true.
You know, in general, like there's always going to be something in a component, like in a game like that. There's going to be a component that suffers because of it. So there's always going to be something. You know, you can have this fantastic open world that looks fucking stunning, but then you could
Crisis
have,
2 did look real good.
You could have like shitty side quests, or in the case of Crisis 2, non-animated secondary characters. There's always going to be something that has to budge.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like this. It ties into that whole conversation about downgrades and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, they've got a tech demo to show. They're trying to sell this to. They're not like, you know, you go to E3 and they show these big demos and stuff like that. They ain't selling that to the fucking general public. They're selling it to the people that are going to sell the game for them. So they want to show it as good as they possibly can. And then you get the downgrades and everybody gets pissy. And it's like, well, the game wasn't aimed at you viewing it. It was aimed at people, you know, like shareholders and shit like that, and tradespeople, because that's what E3 is. It's not not supposed to be for the public.
Yeah, it's there for the press and the, you know, so they get the first scoop on all the stuff, so they get ratings coming in as well as sharing what the companies want them to share, so that they can get the interest from the public at the end as an end product to buy their games. The other constraint where you're saying that it's affordability of having every detail perfect. There's also the time constraint. Games have really tight time constraints. So quite often, they might be, if they could throw money at it instead of time, they'll do that. And if neither option's available, well, that's not happening. That's just life. That's just the nature of it.
Back to Metro.
Yes. You know, I will say, Phil, when you said the comment, it will probably feel a little bit dated by today's game standards, and you're kind of right about that, but I'm still enjoying it because for me it is a fresh experience.
Good.
Oh yeah.
Guys, Nellie's alive.
Oof. Hey, Nellie.
She's alive. Sorry, Bob.
I can't. I'll try to think of something witty, but it's not happening.
To pick up on what you were just saying about the narrative stuff, when you play it back again, play it back much better. Did you start on Survivor or on Spartan?
I think I started on Spartan. That's the one where you get more combat, more ammo drops.
Yeah, so you've done it the right way around. I did it the other way around. So when you go back through, you'll probably want to take your time a bit more. And then you'll also pick up all the diaries and things. That gives you a bit more.
I've picked up quite a lot of them. Because I think it gives snippets from the book.
Yeah, and you see copies of the book lying around in the game, don't you?
I've seen that. They're not subtle.
Now it's unexpected because you haven't said a word in Discord for like a week. We all thought you were dead. Thought you, Richard, and Ninja were all dead because nobody said anything for a while.
Taking a big L.
What the fuck is that?
What?
What the fuck is that?
What?
I had Firefox open and it's just started. I've just started hearing Theresa May talking. I had the window open. It's obviously just been updated with a video or a live feed.
I can understand why you're terrified just hearing Theresa May's voice coming out of nowhere. It scares shit out of me.
Anyway, now that Phil's had his mini freak out, hearing the ghost of the much alive Theresa May. What were you saying, Bob?
Yeah, I did notice the rather blatant copies of Metro 2033 book all over the place. There's a scene where you're in a cart and you're like belly down in the cargo hold of this cart, and right in front of your face is the book. And it's just like, I can't do anything other than look at this book or look at people's shoes. But to be fair, it was based on that guy's book, so I think we'll allow that advertising.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, it is his book, it's his story. The trouble I'm having is obviously I'm playing through the story faster than I'm reading through the book. So in terms of, I'm trying to draw comparisons to things going on, but obviously there's points where it diverts a fair bit, and then I see a character mentioned in the book and I'm going, oh, I know that guy. Well, I don't really, but I know what he's about, and then suddenly that character's actually making more sense because I get a different introduction in the book.
Something I want to ask, since you're reading the book, are the names in the book, are they all just, like, every name is like, it's like the Russians have only got 7 names, and there's, because it's all, it's like, it's Pavel and Vladimir and names like, all names like, it's like if you said, oh, name 5 Russian names, you'd name those 5 Russian names, and that is that the same in the book, or have they just done that to make it more...
I haven't really noticed that, but the main characters, they all have unique names, faces, and voice actors. They all feature in the book because they are the same characters in the book and the game. I haven't noticed it in anything else. So I'm going to pay a bit more attention to that. Maybe come back to you on that next week and see, are there more in the book as I go forward? Because like Bourbon, Khan, Sukhov, they're all there. Hunter, those characters are all the same characters in the book and the game.
But then I suppose it's a translated book as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so if any names they can't make the sense of, certainly in the book I've been introduced to more Russian names than I knew existed, but I'm not particularly clued in on Russian, so it's not hard. You know. So yeah, I think I'm definitely finding it an interesting experience comparing a book and a game for the same story. It's definitely an interesting experience, and I can recommend it to anyone that likes both gaming and booking.
Sorry guys, ignore me, I'm just going nuts.
Evidently so.
I'm interested to see.
And I don't know where it's gone. Sorry Phil, carry on.
I was going to say, I'm interested to see, because there are 2 endings to the game. I don't know if you're aware of that.
I wasn't aware of that.
So obviously the book doesn't have 2 endings unless it's one of those turn
Choose your
to
own
page
adventure on
385.
the second last page.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got a feeling that. Well, I won't say which ending I think it'll be, but I'm pretty sure I know which ending is going to be in the book, because it kind of flows into the sequel.
Yeah.
To determine it. So it's since we're talking about Metro, I've actually been playing Metro Last Light quite a bit this week. I'd already completed it on Spartan, so I'm going back through Survivor trying to get the other ending, and fill out all the achievements I've missed. I did all the DLC. I've been gradually doing all the DLC, which is nothing to do with the game. You can just play whenever you want. It picks characters from the game. You don't play Artyom, you play individual one character, and then he has a medal. Probably better to play it after you've played it rather than because it does run parallel and things. So it could give away some spoilers, not really, but so I've been doing that, and then so I'm back. I'm playing survival on the main quest. I'm not going to try doing it on any harder difficulties. I'm just going to stick it on the easiest one and just do it that way. It's the combat's actually quite difficult if you not so much the human, but the Nasalises are really actually quite difficult to kill if you get loads of them.
I've found that myself. They are really fast. You have to time things like your dodges really, really well. Otherwise, they just rip you to shreds. And if there's more than 3, then you're in serious trouble.
Yep.
Shotguns. I feel like John's hinting at something. I think we should ignore him. There was actually a fight scene that I was getting frustrated with in one of the tunnels with the Nasalises, because they killed me a couple of times, and at the same time there was like some other presence that was going to knock us all out. But what happened was, on the final time when I actually succeeded and I was supposed to go unconscious, you're sniggering away so much. Zoom in on that picture. And by zoom in, I mean I will move my closer to the screen. It's a manual zoom.
Manual zoom.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got it. I mean, I've got to do it. But I don't have to do it. I don't want to make it blue thinking it's an obligation that I'm doing it. Just it's something I want to do.
Fair enough.
Well, we'll get to this soon, and some other stuff. So I know what your next thing is going to be, and I think this is going to be a discussion that all 4 of us kind of want to get involved in here. So Gearbox are teasing some stuff.
Really nice.
The Gearbox tease that we all care about the most is going to be Borderlands 3.
The Pog.
So, I'm just going to move this mic back down now.
If they don't screw it up.
If they don't screw it up. So, there's this hype in me that I'm burying deep right now until I've seen the game. Because, as I've said before, I'm so worried that they're going to go games as a service with this one, and I just want Borderlands. I don't want any extra bolt-ons. I don't want any extra shit. I want to be able to invite, say, you 3 into a fucking game. We're all going to play separate characters, or the same character. I don't give a shit, and we're just going to fucking shoot people. That's what I want. I want it to have a sense of humor. I don't want it to be anything fucking ridiculous. Just make Borderlands 2 again and prettier. That's all it needs.
Hell yeah.
Doesn't need anything else.
Oh, and a special edition version that comes with a canvas bag that's made of plastic. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
But knowing Gearbox, that will be legitimately sarcastic. It won't be. It won't be an accidental failure. It will be sarcasm. So what about you guys? Like for Borderlands 3, because I mean it looks like it's getting announced on the 28th. So what are you wanting to see from it?
Claptrap.
Why do people like Clap? Right, so you like Claptrap?
He's
Explain.
fucking annoying and it's amazing. That's why. You can't deal with stairs, especially, and it's amazing.
I will say some of the best side missions in Borderlands 2 were when you just got to they tried to make you feel sorry for Claptrap, and you were just like, ha ha ha, fuck you.
It's so good.
Throwing his
That
own
one
birthday
nude stuff.
party that nobody comes to, and you're like, haha, fuck you, you stupid fucking robot.
But you're at the party. You're the only one there.
Yeah.
You're the one that went when nobody else did.
You have a lot of pizza there that you can't actually fucking eat, which is a bit sad. But they got me. I did love the reactions of the other NPCs, like Moxie and
Yeah, no, I don't want to go.
yeah.
Yeah. I'd go, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about? So let's get into this a bit then. So characters. So there's obviously going to be a siren. That's kind of a given at this point.
Yeah.
We'd hope so.
I want to see more sort of variation because you had people that were mostly the same from the first. You had a commando, you had a siren, you had a sniper, and you had a big heavy dude. But then, as we talked about in the last cast, some of our favorite characters were the ones that weren't carbon copies of the ones that came in the previous game. So, like Gage, for instance, because Gage is so different from
I love Gage.
from the other ones. So and then with the pre-sequel there was the Baroness. I never actually played her, but apparently she was quite good.
I've played her briefly, and she starts off with 30 grand.
Nice.
It's like, so from a brand new level 1 character, you got 30k. I'm like, going through the venues going, I can afford everything, and it's only, whoa, I've got a lot of cash. And her abilities are quite interesting because they're all based around ice, I think. So, yeah, I never explored her too deeply, but I was finding quite interesting another sort of play style coming out of Borderlands.
Yeah, so I personally want to see different. I don't want to see a commando again. There's going to be a siren, but let's have a siren that's got, completely different abilities. Because Maya and I keep forgetting Lilith. They are different in the terms that the way that they work. So Lilith can phase and she can run away in stealth and do damage from stealth. Whereas Maya could put things in stasis and she could kill from that, and it could heal people or it could buff things and buff damage, and they would take more damage while being stuck in stasis. So they played very differently. But then you take the two commandos, Roland and whatever the fuck his name is,
Axton, I think.
Yeah, they both just get turrets. They're the same. Like to me anyway. Like I know that Axton gets like the double turrets, and you can have them go like nuclear and shit like that. But they still have a turret. Like Roland's turret had shields that could come up and hit, like, you would get health buffs and stuff. But they essentially played the same. The biggest difference between Brick and Salvador were essentially the same thing, except Brick didn't have guns when he went berserk. They are.
I honestly found Brick more fun to play than Salvador.
Yeah, they are the same archetype overall. It's just that Brick goes melee and Salvador goes ranged. That's just it. You get a rage mode where you have like fucking tons of ammo and you fire two guns at the same time. You have a rage mode where you just do shit tons of damage while you're punching people with two hands. I really want to see different. I want to see, like, not Gage specifically, but I want to see something unique as Gage was to the game. And as much as I didn't play him, what was the Psycho's name again?
Krieg. Or Krieg.
Krieger, yeah. So Krieg, something like Krieg again, even though like he wasn't, for me, he was unique to everybody else. I'd like to see more unique characters in that sense. And maybe let's not have the fucking legendary grinds be as fucking hard as they are, because man, you could grind for 6 hours and not get a legendary drop in Borderlands 2, which was just like
it was mad.
Soul destroying. Let's have maybe let's just have really fucking hard missions that drop it. Instead of just like, there's this one dude in the wasteland, if you go kill him like 5,000 times, you might get the best shield in the game. Maybe. I are we going to see new planets? Because I mean, that's been teased. You know, they find that thing in the way up at the end of Borderlands 2, and it's like there's different planets.
Oh yeah,
new
the
vaults.
big network. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we're going to see some characters from Battleborn. They are in the same universe after all. Maybe we'll see some of those guys show up. Because I mean, there was teases about Borderlands 3 in Battleborn. So, you know, I'd like to get off Pandora as well. I think that would be really cool. You know,
and not just to the moon.
Yeah, yeah.
Having said that, you'd want to finish off finish off the story of Pandora. You know what I mean?
I mean, I kind of feel like that's done.
But... Yeah, same. It's 2 vaults have been opened, and I don't think there was an indication of a third or any more within Pandora. They were all spread out throughout the galaxy.
That's true, yeah.
And then the Iridium appearing got explained in the pre-sequel. So I mean, I kind of feel like Pandora's kind of sealed off at this point. So you know, I think we can go to a new planet, or we can go to multiple new planets with this one. If you think about Borderlands 2 when that was made, and how big that game was at the time, think about what's being done now, and the capacity for the scale that they can make at this point. Like, I would quite happily take 4 smaller planets over 1 big planet, because then you get a variance. And it's not to say that the environments from Borderlands 2 were not varied, they were, but it would be cool to go like, this is a lava planet, this is an ice planet. You know, that sort of thing would be quite interesting.
To be honest, I would prefer if it wasn't just a planet that was all ice or all lava or all forest or something like that. I would like to see the same level of variation within a single planet that you got in Borderlands 2, because that was the thing. Like, Borderlands 1, it was all meant to be rocky western type terrain, and you still had a bit of that in Borderlands 2 when you revisit the same areas of the planet. But I really enjoyed that in Borderlands 2, the fact you had such varied terrain.
Yeah, I think it was quite cool going back to like the arid wastelands and stuff like that, and seeing, you know, how,
and then
how
you
Hyperion had changed them.
Yeah. And then the Iridium Blight, I actually quite liked that terrain.
I loved the Iridium Blight.
Yeah, it was quite cool. Yeah.
It was a new terrain to look at for any game series, really. But yeah, I would be fine with lots of planets, or like a handful of planets, as long as they don't make them purely just one type. But then again, that starts, it starts to get quite complicated when you want to do that.
Yeah, I think you also kind of risk, like, if you have multiple planets that are varied, you kind of risk them all being the same.
Yeah, because how many variations can you get before you have the same combinations?
Yeah, I mean, you look at like some of the DLC they did though, and like how they made new environments. I know that you don't like it because some of the enemies in it, Bob, but you look at Hammerlock's DLC.
Yeah.
And that was like a like jungle, swampy sort of idea, whereas that hadn't been in Borderlands 2 up to that.
I did like it. It's just that one enemy just creeped me the fuck out.
I had to kill them. I know how.
I could shoot them from a distance.
I mean, I know how you feel about Steph and spiders now. Playing that DLC through you, because it's like Bob's really freaked out by them, and I'm sitting like, and I didn't realize how genuinely freaked out he was, so I'm sitting laughing, and I'm like, oh, like this is actually disturbing them. I should probably get rid of them.
Yeah, I was not comfortable, and it's not often a game makes me uncomfortable, given my usual genres.
What about a new damage type? I think that would be quite interesting. Let's put a new damage type.
If you get rid of slag as a whole and switch it with something else, or
I mean, I didn't really use slag.
I imagine slag would be very. If you took that out, it would piss a lot of people off. Though I could imagine people say that's kind of unique, isn't it? To remove that would be taking something from it.
All slag.
I mean, you didn't have slag in pre-sequel.
Yeah, that wasn't there. I think slag was only really useful for the sort of debuff that it caused on people. It didn't really add to anything. It just sort of made.
It's useful if you're playing with other folks. One person's got a slag weapon they're using a fair bit, and everyone else is using other elementals. But if you're playing by yourself, I found it just a bit kind of clumsy to try and use slag for its main ability, because it meant constantly weapon switching, and yeah, I just don't have that level of concentration. It's probably quite doable if I practiced. But
Correct me if I'm wrong, but did they not put ice damage into pre-sequel?
yeah, they did.
Yeah, so like, you had
Can't
like
remember.
acid, fire, lightning,
Electrical.
ice, and
Explosive.
explosive. Yeah.
Explosive's been in it from the beginning, though.
Yeah.
So,
Torg.
Yeah, it'd be good
Good
to
old
see
Torg.
some. Make Torg a playable character, man. He's got to have some shit.
Oh fuck!
nah,
Explosive expert.
I don't suit Torg as a natural character.
Why?
Who doesn't want to be a raging lunatic with bombs?
Can you not handle
like
the
Krieg, but
constant
more
Hulk
voice.
Hogan impressions?
I turned down the game, like the dialogue volume in that DLC.
But Matt, the best part of that DLC is the fucking hour-long story that you have to hear from Grandma Torg. That you can't walk away from or skip in any way whatsoever, and if you do, you have to listen to it from the start again. That was the best, obviously. Let's be real. Because, I mean, it was such... there was... The rewards from the end of that mission were just... Oh, so good. It's not like you got fucking nothing for it to stand there and do nothing but listen to this bitch prattle on. And the problem is as well, you can't walk away from it because you have to answer questions. So you can't just go, I'm just going to listen to this side quest and then just go into the kitchen and get a drink or something like that. She asks you questions and you have to respond as if you know what she said. And it's such a pain in the dick. It's so...
You could tell the devs put that in on purpose just to test people.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mental sanity was not had that day when I fucking completed that. Holy shit.
But you actually completed it.
I finished
didn't.
that one as well. I just sort of persevered with it. I was like...
I was on my phone half the time, to be fair.
Just turn the volume down, there we go.
Yeah, it was literally... I just...
Wait for the prompt.
So, what do we think these other Gearbox teases are then? Because there was two other ones. There was Duke Nukem and a guy from Bulletstorm.
They're gonna be apparently different games, or new games, so...
Yeah, so they've teased three things, and then they've had that and the ampersand
It could be anything.
Which is rumoured to be a Penn and Teller game, which I don't know how you're going to do a Penn and Teller game. Because they're magicians. So, I don't know, maybe it's going to be another point and click from Gearbox, but I think we've all seen how well point and clicks have done in the last year.
Yeah.
Putting developers out of business, so I don't know if that'd be the smartest idea in the world. Gearbox have got a lot of shit. Like they're
I just hope they can live up to it.
I was intrigued when I saw the Duke Nukem image there on Twitter. I was like, they got the IP for that?
Yeah, Gearbox have got the IP. They're the ones that released the unfortunately for them broken mess of Duke Nukem Forever.
Right, okay.
Which you can't attribute that, and I think a lot of people kind of did. You can't attribute that to Gearbox. Like, there's a really good Matt McMuscles of Best Friends, no longer Best Friends. He did a thing. He does a show called What Happened, where he goes through it and he kind of talks about games that have failed or not had exactly the best critical reception and why that's happened. He does a really good one on Duke Nukem Forever, and it actually goes through so much. Like, that game was announced back in like '96 for some reason.
Yeah.
So like, and it went through like 4 different engines and had all these problems, and then licensing and rights, and then it ended up with Gearbox, and they just had to release what.
When did Duke Nukem 3D come out?
Oh, I was like 94, 95. It was a little while after Doom. Hold on, let me Google that.
I mean, 96 is like a general guess. It was after Duke Nukem 3D at least, I think. So, I mean, that's not down to Gearbox. It
96. 96 for Duke Nukem 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just after that. It was like 98 or early 2000s at the very least that they announced this.
Yeah, because the very first Duke Nukem, which was a 2D platformer, was 91.
Yeah. So Gearbox have got some shit. Let's see what they've got next week. I don't think we'll have it in time for next week's podcast. It's the 28th. Yeah, so it's the day after. So on the 3rd of April, we'll be able to kind of talk about Gearbox and what they've said at what is it? PAX? PAX? Yeah, PAX is this month. So we'll have other stuff from PAX as well for that podcast after. So we're almost sort of halfway through. So my stuff's kind of very quick. Actually, there's two things I want to talk about. One of them is quicker than the other. One is that Dragon Ball Super is possibly coming back for the anime this year, in July, supposedly. I don't know if anybody is interested or has seen Broly, but the guy who did all the character designs and some of the animation is supposedly involved with this one. And Broly looked fucking amazing. So if they transfer that over to the anime that they've apparently had it in post production for months at this point, I'm going to be super happy because that animation is silky smooth and just so much nicer. So that's just one super quick thing that I'm excited about because I fucking love Dragon Ball. The other thing, and I don't know if you're aware of this, Bob, yet. I hope you will be. Is the Halo Master Chief Collection is coming to PC. It's launching on Steam, and the first game that they are dropping is Halo Reach.
I didn't know the first one was Reach, but I had heard Halo was coming to Steam.
So they are remastering Reach, and it will be the first game to drop. So they're doing it. They're doing it
in chronicle order.
Yeah. So
what
they're also doing is they're dropping one game. So that has all the time and attention and focus it needs for it to. I think Bob's will have a wank. That's why he's turned his camera on.
I'll be in my bunk.
So they're dropping Halo Reach first, and then once Halo Reach is there, stable, and as good as they are wanting to get it, they will do then Halo 1, and then Halo 2, and Halo 3, then 4. ODST's coming as well. So the entire Master Chief Collection is coming.
They are doing a lot of work.
So one thing that... so when that happens, I want to do something within the Discord for it because I think there's quite a lot of us that are really interested in Halo and are looking forward to it. I'm quite excited about it coming to PC. So Bob, me and you, we'll fucking go through that campaign for every single one. Right.
Oh god, yes.
You sort of frozen. You're back now.
Yeah, my connection's gone a bit wobbly, but it's back.
So there's that, and I want to do something within the Discord where we do some sort of multiplayer thing because there's a big team battles and stuff like that we can do. I think that's going to be really, really cool because Halo is just, for me, Halo has been the best competitive multiplayer thing for me, and Halo Reach is my favorite one, and that includes the competitive nature of the multiplayer. Phil, if you want me to play a competitive multiplayer game, Halo is that game. I am good at it. I'll be shit on PC. I'm not fucking. I'm gonna be awful on PC, but Halo's my game, and I will play that shit until I'm good on PC.
Hell yeah.
So there's
is the competitive actually coming out? I thought it was. I thought, or is it ODST though?
Every single Halo game has both its single player and its multiplayer component. So if you want to play Halo 1 multiplayer, you can do that. If you want to play Halo 2 multiplayer, it's there. Every single Halo game has its multiplayer component with it. So it's all all these servers for all these different Halo games are still running, and they all come with it.
Does Combat Evolved actually have multiplayer?
Yep.
I know it's got co-op.
Yep.
Can't remember whether it has.
Yeah. I used to play it. I can't remember if it had online, but it had local competitive for sure. Because I remember playing it way back. Definitely, Halo 2 definitely had online. But Halo 1, at the very least, had local competitive multiplayer. So yeah, there's that. I don't know if Reach is going to get the same remaster treatment as 1 and 2 have had. I don't know if it's going to have the press the button and the engine changes. I think it's just going to be made shiny, running 4K, have the HDR shit, all that sort of stuff.
It's a proper PC,
and yeah,
remake.
All of it's getting made native to PC.
Full ultra wide support, uncapped frames, the bunch that PC lovers.
Mouse keyboard support, controller support. So the other thing is, if you go to Halo Waypoint, and there's the Insider program that you can sign up for on PC, you will get invited to technical tests.
You may get
invited to technical tests. I have signed up for it. They want just sort of some general information about what you use to play PC games on, your inputs, what you use to listen to the games. and they also want your DX diag settings so they know what your PC is like, because they're obviously looking to test it on a multitude of PCs to make sure it's stable on as much as they possibly can make it stable on. So yeah, go to the Halo Waypoint thing, get signed up for that if you're interested, and hopefully getting sort of an early look at what it's going to be like. At the moment, they have the right attitude of when it's ready. As much as I want that right now, I am happy to hear that Microsoft have given them the go-ahead to go when it's ready. So if it gets delayed into 2020, I'm okay with that, because I want that. Halo Reach is my Halo game.
You want it to be good.
So it better be good. I
They are complete games, though, aren't they? So they're only giving it a facelift. It's not like they're rebuilding it.
They are sort of rebuilding some of the back end to have it run properly on PC.
Obviously, like they've changed the engine. You're gonna have to put it for PC. Make sure all that works. So it isn't as simple.
Which ones weren't PC anyway?
None of them. Halo 1 was the only one ever to come out on PC.
And Halo 2 was. Halo 2 was a Vista exclusive.
Was it?
Hmm.
I don't remember Halo 2 coming out on PC.
Thinking.
I'm willing to be wrong. Sammy Lee with the follow, thank you very much. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Vista exclusive. You had to go on Vista if you wanted to play it.
Hang on, let's have a look.
Wow, okay.
Or an Xbox. So they were still on Xbox, the original Xbox, which were x86, weren't they?
Yeah.
Halo 3 was for the 360, so would have been on that PowerPC chip.
Windows version. It's a version of TV doesn't PC exclusive for Windows Vista. Vista again if you're unable to play on Xbox. Okay, yeah. So Halo 2 was on PC as well. I'm wrong about that. Fair enough.
Happens.
I mean, with it being on Vista,
I didn't have Vista for long before I could get rid of it. So, yeah. So
there was nothing wrong with Vista. Vista was fine.
So, like, just in this last sort of 2 weeks, there's been big gaming news that has made me super happy. The idea of Borderlands 3 coming back, and then the one time I watch something to do with Microsoft, it's exactly what I want to hear, which is the Master Chief Collection is coming to PC, which means that everything bar Halo 5 will be available on PC by sort of the middle of next year, I think. They're planning on having it all up by sort of next summerish. So, yeah.
I can live without Halo 5, to be fair.
Fucking super happy about that. Like, and as soon, like, there's always rumours floating about that they were doing the Master Chief Collection for PC, and everybody was like, right, okay, that's cool. And then they just come out, balls to the fucking wall, being like, Halo Reach, bitches! And I'm like, yes! That's what I wanted. So, I'm so fucking happy that game's coming. So happy. So, guys, we're at the midpoint. And now that we're at the midpoint, it's time for a hashtag ad. Yes, I just did that. So.
I'm out, bye.
Blue, you here? Please tell me you're here.
She is here.
I know she's here, but I need her to be here.
She's shoeless.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there she is.
Whoop, whoop.
So we've talked about this for the last 2 podcasts. We have a deal going on with Blue. She's got an Etsy page. If you head to the link below the stream, you'll get that. And it's for anybody who's listening. It's Blue Panda UK on Etsy, and then if you go to the checkout, put Misad15 in, you get 15% off your entire order. So she's got some really cool prints on there that we've been kind of seeing through the Discord and our little art corner thing that we've got. And so to help with the promotion of said thing, I asked her to send me a sample. And as Blue tends to do when she does these things, she went extra. And I end up getting this. So, just a disclaimer, when Blue sends them to you guys, if you buy them, the frame will not come with them because it's expensive to send. She framed this one because obviously it's a promotional thing. Apparently we're friends, so we got this.
Apparently.
The other thing
not if you talk like that.
the other thing that I got sent as well, I asked her to send me these, which is our little business cards. Let's get that in. Come on, webcam. Focus. There we go.
Hey.
I see my face in the background. It's uncomfortable, man.
So, they're super nice. They're super high quality. This one kind of reminds me a little bit of like King Kai's Planet from Dragon Ball, which is why I was like, send me that one if you're going to send me anything. So yeah, Blue, how much are your prints normally? Like general sort of price? We'll get there. 15 quid normally, yeah. So 15% off that if you use Misad15 on Blue's Etsy page, and you'll get something like this, and you can get a nice cool frame for it. Was planning to show this off before, but there was issues with the Royal Mail, as there always is. So there's that. So that I had it hidden off the camera because I was like, I want to do like a big sort of reveal, but normally it's just sitting right there.
She also does emotes, by the way. If you need any emotes, you can. There's my emotes. She designed those.
Yep. So channel art and stuff like that. Go see Blue. You can catch her most of the time in our Discord server. She's there. So yeah, anything like I'm sure that if she's got the time and is capable of doing it, she'd be willing to help you out for the right price. So Matt, what have you been looking at for the last couple of weeks then? What are you bringing to the table?
So, my experience today of Division 2 and previous views of it. So, yeah, that dropped on the 15th, so 5 days ago, on Friday, went on public release, global release. Yeah, and immediately the critics have enjoyed it. A lot of channels saying how good it is and various bugs that were initially
what's this skill bug thing that's going on now?
Yeah, so initially there was a bug where which affected pretty much everyone. You put you used your skill, so Q or E as default binds, and it would basically just not activate at all. And then you just get put either, so you couldn't use it at all, you couldn't like throw anything or whatever, or it would just go straight to cooldown. So that was an odd bug, which was patched out very quickly. It was patched on Tuesday, in fact. Well, not Tuesday, rather. Yeah, it's patched out earlier this week, so pretty swift on main release and involved in one of the day one patches as well. So yeah, so they've acted on pretty game breaking stuff like that. I did, however, today experience a bug where essentially I just couldn't move. I could go like lean on a wall or anything just as cover, but I couldn't actually move whatsoever. And the only way I could get out of that is just die and respawn. That was a bit odd, but I could still shoot and stuff, so it was alright. I could still defend myself. I was just stood still. So if there were any explosives, I was boned.
When I was watching you earlier on, you got your mate's skills on your bar for some reason?
Yeah, so that was with spectator thing. So I died and I was being boosted essentially by my friend who's max level, and yeah, I spectated him like with the because when you die you can spectate people now, like your teammates who are still alive, and yeah, and then when I respawned or got revived rather, his ability icons showed up on mine and created a weird layering visual bug, which went away when we teleported, so that was another thing that was simply...
But you don't get his abilities too.
Yeah, no, I was like, good bug. I was like, hang a sec, why have I got that? And then I threw down what I thought was his ability, and no, it's just mine. It's just the icons were messed up.
So I know that you sort of semi disagree on it. but I think just from the sort of brief look, because I was busy doing other stuff while you were streaming earlier, but I kind of like the concept of DC as a city instead of New York, because I feel like New York is so like overdone these days.
I know,
everything's
yeah,
post-apocalyptic in like New York, because it's like it's New York. I get it. It's iconic.
It's famous.
Yeah.
Like staple of the US.
You know, the only time you ever see DC in a game or a movie or something like that is where fucking aliens come to blow it up.
Fucking,
you know,
president's under attack.
Fucking. So I think it's good to see DC as like a different thing, because like, it is always New York. But could you imagine Division 2 in New York again? It's like, what's the difference?
Yeah, obviously it would be in a different place. Like, I'm not saying it should have been.
I know.
Yeah. It's just like the whole vibe in New York with towering skyscrapers, the nuclear winter essentially, just dark winter, crazy blizzards and stuff, and like just the fact that you're between buildings with them towering above you, and it just like it gives you the sense of scale.
I mean, I will say that
how dark things are.
It's a very different approach, because obviously, like, everything seems a larger when you're playing Division in New York, because obviously you're just this tiny dude on the street. Which is nice, because it gives you sort of a different perspective of, like, say, like Spider-Man swinging through the streets and stuff. You're always sort of like above the skyline or something like that, and it does add a good sense of scale to like New York, and it's a different sort of viewpoint. But then you've also got the idea of like Washington DC having sort of these flatter, more open terrain, where it's not like you're just having gunfights from building to building. You know, it definitely seems like you're much more vulnerable just from kind of things that I was seeing you playing.
It's so open.
Because there's no like fucking buildings and stuff like that. You can't just sit on top of somewhere. You kind of, the one thing I did, were you in like the fucking like a robotics lab or something at some point there?
Yeah.
So sort of like the sterile white lab sort of looking place you were in.
Yeah, that was the that A rocket thing. I don't really know at this point. I just sort of went with it. A rocket thing. Yeah.
Love those things.
Yep. I don't know. I'll go back to it because I just sort of just went with it. I was dragged along, essentially.
Fair enough.
Yeah. No, it's all the buildings obviously set with actual buildings in DC. So obviously we went to the National Aerospace Museum and saw that place get blown up essentially from the inside. Nice. Which is nice. Try not to spoil shit though.
You're fired, Matt. You've spoiled that level for me now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you what the mission details were, but yeah, the inside's blown up and shit, and more stuff gets blown up. What else can I say? The game is pretty good. There's quite a lot of content. I played the game for a solid. Well, yeah, I was playing since from quarter to 3 till about 7, and like the only reason why I was so like quote unquote far ahead is because I was playing with my level 30 mate. So obviously XP is going to be increased when you're playing with a higher level. And also the interesting thing about like the level differences in the first game, if you're playing with such a big level difference trying to carry your mate, then he would just die. He wouldn't be able to do anything, and he would just sit back, and you would revive him every now and then. But in Division 2, you essentially your stats get boosted to close enough to where you can actually deal damage. Your health seems to not.
Normally, like the game will pull you down, not up.
Yeah, usually it would, but interestingly enough, your level gets temporarily increased, and your stats get temporarily increased. Your health doesn't seem to scale as much, which is a bit weird. So if you watch the VOD,
they know that people are gonna do it.
I died.
You know, like they know that people are gonna boost their mates. Like it's part and parcel, like sort of these MMO style games. They know that it's gonna happen. So
just to like
they'll give you enough to do a little bit of damage, but they're not gonna let you have any sort of real survivability.
Definitely. So
it would kind of ruin the point of having a leveling system if they did.
Yeah, if you could just get the stats and stuff.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I don't need to actually level up. I'll just join the
Oh, it'll be fine.
raid with someone
So it makes
top
sense.
tier.
What they've done is just it's
means
still comfortable. You still have a pretty decent chance of survival.
Yeah.
Anyway, because you can still do a decent amount of damage. Obviously, not to the extent of your mate, but you can still kill someone.
It means if you're power leveling a new character, or you're stuck in high level instances, it means that you're not completely stuck. You can do something, which is nice. A lot of games were just like, nah, tough. You're gonna die a lot.
You're just gonna get carried and sit back while you watch your mate kill everything. It's like, but yeah, content-wise, there's quite a lot of stuff to do. Seems to have more than the first as well. The map's also bigger than the first. And more stuff's spread about as well. Instead of starting in the top corner or something and channeling downwards around the curve around the dark zone like you do in Manhattan, it's more spread out and more varied of the places that you go as well. And also there's different, as you said before, pairing DC and New York, there's different things everywhere. It's a bit of everything in terms of the general scenery and the landscape. Obviously, it's going to be a city, but it depends.
Oh, the internet's shitting the bed. We've all gone. Hang on, guys. Discord, right. Let's do this. And then... Are we back? Matt's back, Bob's back, Phil's back. My webcam stopped working. Yay!
It's loading on this end, or it's got the wee loading animation.
I think that was a John thing. I think John just shit himself.
Yeah, my internet died. It's back now though. So let's get that back in. That's good. Yeah, so you were saying something about varied environments.
Yeah, so the general buildings and stuff, they all look relatively different. Instead of, I know I said I liked the skyscrapers just being above you and towering. It's also nice to see different sort of buildings around you, even though you don't necessarily pay attention to them too much, since you're just concentrating on whatever enemy you got to shoot in front of you.
I think that's
Oh. Right, that's not me. That's not me this time. Matt's still fine, I'm fine.
I'm okay on my call. I'm okay on I'm frozen on the stream. No, I'm not sure on the stream.
Okay. Right. Everyone leave, let's restart this.
Okay.
Come on, Phil. There we go.
A tremendous success.
Yeah,
for me, everyone appears. Maybe this is Discord's end.
It could entirely be Discord.
It could be Discord because
low connectivity. So
on the stream, I seem to be fine, but everyone else seemed to be whack on my screen, on my side. So,
well, we'll carry on with Bob's webcams doing whatever it's doing.
Yeah. Hold on.
So, if you're listening on the voice, if you're listening on the podcast, just to the voice, then that's going to be really weird.
Yeah, so we should explain that. For any of the listeners on SoundCloud, obviously we're streaming live. We use Discord for a video call so that we can all because we're in different parts of the country. So this is kind of how we do our thing. And that was Discord shitting the bed. So that's kind of what that was. And I can't be bothered to go behind and edit the last 2 or 3 minutes out, because that takes effort and time that I can't be asked with. So let's just keep it in. Nobody expects us to be professional at this point. Nobody expects a fucking a big budget fucking problemless and just fucking Nobody expects this to be good.
If you want that, there are millions of other podcasts that do all that.
Yeah.
If you want all the...
Yeah.
If you want dog shit, come and watch us.
If you are seeking imperfection.
No, we call it authentic. It's authentic.
Authentic dog shit.
We call it authentic. Thanks, Bob. It's not dog shit, man. Come on. I think I put a little bit more effort in than dog shit.
Okay, cat shit.
Come on, bruh.
For those on SoundCloud, John just pulled a face at me, which I deserve.
Yeah, you do. Could you?
So if you think our show is dog shit, please give us 1 star. If you think it's cat shit, please give us 2 stars. If you really like it, give us 5 stars.
If you really like it, donate 500 bits right now.
Oof.
I had to. I'm not expecting anybody to, but you gotta do shit like that. Anything else, Matt? Then, so like you've done Division, like.
Apex is holding on fine and stuff. Oh.
Yeah, we're getting more connectivity issues again.
Nope.
Hang on. Are you downloading something, Calvin? I mean, you could give me like a legitimate answer because Discord's shit in the bed, and I'm just hoping that it's Discord and not in here. Okay.
This is a turn. This is definitely Discord's end.
Okay, so
This is definitely Discord's end.
yeah, it has to be Discord at this point. Right, we just have to persevere and work our way through it. Right, Matt. Why
am I the only one showing up fine on the stream? What the fuck?
I could see everyone find you.
Yeah, I mean, it's back now. Right, so Division. Anything else other than Division? Let's.
Apex is fine.
Apex.
It's pretty good. Battle Pass came out on Tuesday. The new dude is looking pretty OP. Not gonna lie, it's just his toolkit is very versatile. Yeah, no, Apex is really fun, and y'all should play that instead of Fortnite because Fortnite dog shit.
Yeah, I'm now copying Apex.
Yep, Fortnite shit. Apex good. Go play.
Well, that was a fantastic 10 minutes of content from Matt there. Phil, you have 45 minutes. Take it away, buddy.
Well, there's a few bits I want to talk about. So the stuff about Google's Play thing, but I'll leave that for a bit. I'll just talk about what I've been doing for the first few minutes, and then because I think we'll have more to say about that.
I have backups.
So this week I've been playing. Besides, I was playing Metro last night. Besides that, I played a bit of what's it called? 2 Point Hospital. I keep thinking Theme Hospital because it's basically just Theme Hospital remade, and it looks like it's been remade in the same vein completely. There's not some online multiplayer. There's not 10 hospitals competing against one another. It's just a remake of the same game. I played a bit of it and thought, I'm a bit bored with this. But then played a bit more the following day. I didn't buy it, by the way. It was on. I don't know if you know, it was on free weekend. So I thought, it was in my wish list, but it's a bit expensive for a remake of Theme Hospital.
It was on sale as well.
But I thought it's still on sale.
Yeah.
I still might buy it after payday, but we'll see. I didn't actually play Theme Hospital. Years ago, I was sharing this sort of digs with this other guy, and he played it quite a lot.
Sorry, for our non-British fans, digs is flat.
It's particularly it's where you have a house share situation where you rent one room in a house.
It's also normally a shithole. Just
normally, yeah. In this particular case, my room was nice and tidy, and his room was a shithole. But anyway, that's beside the point. So yeah, he played a lot of that. I played more Theme Park back in the day, and I wish they'd remake that. Not how they wreck it with the new versions. And the new SimCity was shit and all that. I miss some of those games. Sim Tower, I really want to play Sim Tower again. Yeah.
City Skyline's quite good if you can get into it.
I looked at it. It was in my wish list for a long time, and then I looked at a few people streaming it. And it just didn't seem quite what I wanted from it, and it was really expensive, so I didn't bother. Anyway, I know you played that. You played 2 Point. I mean, you kept telling me that, came up and saying
that my hospitals were better than yours, obviously.
Yeah, well, sometimes, and then mine got better than yours, and then like went on to the next level, and then it went down to being crappier than yours again. You've got 70% cure rate. You should try and be more like him.
It's because I am a doctor who cares. That's me. I'm a person who cares. I care about my patient's health. I care about curing them of their light bulb heads.
Light bulb head.
What's it called? Lightheadedness.
Yeah.
Lightheadedness.
So Bob, you'd love this game because all of the diseases are puns. So lightheadedness, they just have a light bulb as a head.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's right up your fucking street, man.
I'm guessing if they've got a cold, they're just an ice block.
What was the one with the clowns? Do you remember what it was called?
I haven't got that far. I think that was in the hospital as well.
Yeah, it's in the second hospital that it starts happening, but maybe you just haven't.
Yeah. And there's a thing where they're all Elvis impersonators and stuff, and they have to go to see the psychiatrist.
The clowns is called a jest infection.
That's really good.
And it's all shit like that. It's really quite funny, I suppose, in that sense. It's set as a really corporatist kind of. It's all about the money, and we don't care about the patients and that kind of thing. But you have to balance your reputation versus how much money you're ripping them off by, or things like that. It seems okay. Like I say, I might buy it.
There's people that come in with pans. I'm just looking at a list of the illnesses just now. There's people that come in with pans on their head, and it's called a pandemic.
And what's the cure room for
it's class.
There's people that come in 70s disco clothes and they've got night fever. There's people dressed up as Freddie Mercury that have got Mockstar.
That's the one I was thinking, Mockstar. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Once diagnosed a pandemic patient, we need to visit a PANS lab where a doctor will attempt to cure the patient. The cure involves the extract a pan machine. The patient is lifted by a giant magnet thrown around until separated from their pan.
Oh.
Bob, you'd love this game. There's
it's quite slow, but it is fairly.
It ramps up quite quick once you're in the second or third area because the hospital gets much bigger and you end up having separate buildings, so there's more going on.
Yeah, got the separate buildings and stuff. It's as far as I can see, you can't actually lose, or maybe you can lose, but you can get to start again at that level. I think on the old theme hospital, if you lost, you had to start again from scratch. It wasn't.
It's your old school.
Multi-hour. Yeah, that's how games work.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't really get away with that too much these days.
We're just too pampered.
Basically, they kind of want to keep stuff as accessible as it can be. So, if you don't want to eliminate your sort of the core audiences out there, so you have to kind of you get your ultra hard games like Dark Souls and stuff like that. They just don't give a shit. But
they're designed and targeted at people that want that.
So maybe something that they could have done is put in like a hardcore mode. You know, you fuck up your hospital once, you restart, and it just eliminates all your progress. For like all
like
the
with
hospitals.
Diablo's got.
Yeah. And like Minecraft 2 has a hardcore mode.
I think as well because it's level based as well. It's not just like you just have a hospital and that's it. You're just building that up. It's level based. It's essentially like challenges. So like each level is like a challenge. Like you've got to get your hospital to 5 stars, but then you'll have like micro challenges put in your way.
Originally games were restart because you couldn't save for a start.
Yeah.
There was nothing. It was all hardware. It was all ROM. And I think that's enough about that game now. Unless anyone else got anything to add.
If you guys see 2 Point Hospital cheap and like for a tenner, I would just get it because it's good for like a sort of fuck around for a bit. It is really funny. Mm-hmm. There is some really stupid.
You can get
names.
A decent amount of hours, like enjoyable hours from that game.
Yeah, and you're either going to get really invested in it, or you're going to play it for 3 or 4 hours and then go, okay, this is fine, and that's going to be it, and that's fine. That's kind of what I feel like that game's designed to be. Really, is it's just supposed to just sort of be a little bit of throwaway fun. You want to get serious about it, then there's plenty of options there for you to do that. But
there's DLC on. There's DLC and there's another DLC coming.
There's 2 DLCs. There's the Bigfoot DLC, which I think just adds in an illness, and then there's the islands that they've just
I wonder
released.
What the Bigfoot illness might be.
I don't know.
That's about the DLC and find out.
Let's have a quick look at it. Do I still have that installed? I do not. God, I have too many games.
He's got a lot more than me. I actually deleted a lot of mine.
Oh no, I must have it installed. It's got to be update. So yeah, Peverly Island is the thing, and then the Bigfoot. Oh no, the Bigfoot DLC is like a full thing. It's the same price as the islands. Explore a new winter region featuring 3 brand new hospitals, 33.
You have so much stuff installed.
I do.
Holy shit.
I have 87 installed.
Why?
Wow, that's a lot.
I don't even think I've got 87 games.
Because
how big's your hard drive?
3 terabyte hard drive.
That's
just for games.
It's small.
Oh yeah, but how big is your storage overall?
3 terabyte hard drive and a 120 odd, whatever that size was, 128.
Oh yeah, SSD.
SSD.
Yeah.
My god.
And that's not including the stuff I've got installed on other launchers. But then that's like Uplay, and it's just like Assassin's
Having
Creed.
said that, I generally only have big games installed. Having said that, I've got still got half terabyte, like 427 gig free. So
yeah, I've got about 360 odd or something.
Fair enough.
Oh.
Yeah.
What else you got, Phil?
I have rather large games installed, to be fair. So.
What else you
got? We're still live, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
We're getting back to it. What else you got, Phil?
Well, I think I didn't play Overwatch at all really last week.
That's a surprise, and that's a change for good because of how dog shit Overwatch is. Especially,
I was going to say congratulations on taking the first step towards recovery, Phil.
I'm not holding back, man.
I do really like Overwatch, but I don't think I'm going to stream it anymore. I'm going to carry on playing it.
Yeah, I think.
But
I think you should use your streams as sort of like I said, like in the last podcast, to do something like experience games that you might not necessarily think of immediately, like 2 Point Hospital. You've played it and you actually end up kind of liking it more than you thought you were gonna. I think that'd be something quite good. You could make it like a thing and just have that be the experience.
Yeah. Yesterday I was playing more of those hidden object games. I just stared at a empty chat the entire time. It was completely dead. But my Tuesday stream is usually dead, to be honest. I might see if I moving that around and doing a different day.
Your
we'll see how it goes.
Thursday stream next week. I was gonna say this to you. I'm off Thursday, Friday, so if you want and if you guys fancy it, what about doing like a 4-player Borderlands 2, just fucking around for a bit?
I'm up for that.
If I install the game, then perhaps.
Yeah, sound good, cool. If you're interested, Phil, we'll actually get some Borderlands done.
Yeah, we can do that.
Just because it's in my head right now as well, and I have the time off, so I'll actually be able to come on at your stream and not have to worry about being up at 9 o'clock and like 7:30 in the morning, but work the next day and shit. I can kind of stream with you for as late as you want to go. So.
Well, I'm only usually doing it for about 2 hours. Yeah. Usually 10:30, 11 at the latest.
It's a decent amount of a session, so not normal.
Yep.
Yeah, you can get a lot done in sort of 2 hours of Borderlands, especially with 4 people.
Or nothing at all.
Or not, yeah.
Do we all have DLC? That is the real question.
I have all of the Bardic costumes.
Maybe?
Yeah.
I think the only things you don't have, Bob, is the Headhunters, because I bought you
the
pass, but I didn't buy the Headhunters, because you were going to get them yourself, but they're not important.
No. They're just like single missions.
Yeah, they're
small
just
maps.
Like, very small areas, just sort of like throw
and a handful of side quests chucked in for good measure.
Yeah, so I don't have the Headhunter and stuff either.
The Headhunters are really fun though. You do get some.
Yeah.
You do get unique headpieces out of them as well. So they're good. Yeah. They're good fun for what they are, and they're not overly expensive.
I've got the Headhunters. I think I've got everything.
I have everything besides Headhunters because I couldn't give a shit about them.
They are fun, man.
I don't think I ever did Hammerlock, actually. I don't think I ever completed Hammerlock.
I didn't complete Hammerlock either, I don't think.
I did Dragon
Did we not complete most of it together? Because eventually I got my shit together with those weird insecty things.
I think we got
I remember we
close.
played a fair bit.
I think we got pretty close. I don't think we finished it.
Right, okay.
Because I'm not level capped, and the DLC is supposed to carry you through till basically level cap, which is like 70 or 80 or something like that.
17, and then you've got the ultimate something. You've got prestige essentially.
Yeah, the different difficulties, ultimate.
Yeah.
True and ultimate Vault Hunter.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you've got things.
Phil, have you got a character who's completed the game yet,
No.
Phil? No.
Have you ever completed the game?
No.
Oh my goodness.
What's your highest level character? You remember off the top of your head?
I don't know. It's gauge, but it's not particularly high. I think we got to about 10 or 11 when I was playing Salvador.
So it's not high still.
It's a lot higher than that, but not still.
Yeah.
It's still.
Okay, fair enough. Because I thought what we could have done is like maybe just sort of if you'd finished it and you had a character, we could have just jumped into some DLC late game stuff but we'll figure out the details later on.
Yeah, closer to the time.
Yeah. So no Overwatch. So what have you replaced it with then?
Well, I wasn't streaming last week, so
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I thought that besides playing a few random things, those hidden object puzzles. So where we were just talking about the hospital game. That's it. I mean, I'm gonna look at my single player library and see what I can include. I'll include Borderlands 2 in that. It's you can play a single player. Probably gonna try and do some of those hidden object puzzles on one day because not many people play them. So on Twitch anyway. So
I find them quite good because they're not like high stress. They're just kind of chilled out. You just kind of just go, oh, there's a thing. There you go. And you could probably get some interactivity out of it as well because other people can spot shit for you.
As long as they're there.
I would have quite happily come along, dude, but I put myself on closes this week, so unfortunately I'm not around at nights at the minute, which is why the Rocket League tournament didn't happen this week, but more on that in a bit.
I'm also going to finish Everspace and Fallout 4 just to keep picking up the last of the achievements. Everspace, what we talked about a couple of weeks ago, spaceship. Yeah. should we talk about a subject? Should we talk about an actual subject? So, what do you guys think about this here? Google Strata, or Stratia, whatever it is.
I had a very brief look at it.
Yep.
Very, very brief because I've been kind of busy today. Very brief look at it. I think if it manages to hold its weight, I think it's going to change things. I think it's going to change the industry completely, in a positive way and also a negative way. Positively because it's going to force Sony and Microsoft to do something different. Negatively because it's going to force Sony and Microsoft to do something different. It's one of these things where it's going to go one way or the other. I don't think it's going to just slip in and just have its thing. I think it's going to have exclusive games to it. It's going to have, the controllers look really nice.
Yeah, I don't think exclusivity is a good thing in this day and age, if I'm honest.
It's here. It's here to stay, and there's nothing anybody can do about it at this point. So it's kind of just be pissed off, but get on board with it. Honestly, like it's something I've been thinking about. Like because we've talked about exclusivity on PC before, and it is something that I've been thinking about, just in general, sort of. And obviously, I do see the point of like why is this happening and stuff. But you look at Epic, and they're only taking the exclusives for a year, which I get is pissing people off because they can't buy it on Steam. But then maybe it's time that you start putting these letters out to Steam and go, well, you need to start doing better deals for your devs because this is the platform we want to be on. And, the devs are going where the money is. So you can't, as much as people are getting upset about it, it's here. The devs are going where the money is. Yeah.
It's better for the industry as a whole, but not necessarily as good for the consumers, in my opinion.
For me, as I've said before, I want the devs to get the money that they deserve for it, and Steam takes too big a cut. That being said, when Steam got Master Chief Collection, Steam just kind of went, "Fuck you, Epic." That was a big deal, and I think that's gonna make people think a bit more about it. But
it's funny that you'd have thought Microsoft would have been able to just leverage that and just say you can only get it from us.
It's going to be even more hyped up.
So I think
that it's on Steam.
Yeah, and I think Microsoft have started to realize
made a business decision.
That maybe
they're still shit.
They can't, they can't go and talk about the cloud and wanting everything on every platform that they can possibly put it on if you're restricting your PC to one platform. So I think if Master Chief Collection does well on Steam, which is going to, I think we're going to see a lot of the other Microsoft PC stuff, the first party titles that are Play Anywhere on Microsoft Store, I think we're going to see them come across to Steam if it does well.
We'd hope.
So
depending on popularity, of course, because Halo is a prestigious series.
I think
which is loved by so many people, even though it was only really accessible on Xbox. But now, since a load of people on Xbox have now moved to PC, since for example, some pros on Siege first came from Xbox and now are pros on Siege on PC. So, and they've never gone back, is the point. So there are still many people.
So a big thing actually that I saw earlier on, just tying it in, like we were talking about Microsoft and Nintendo teaming up. So the big thing is, I'll read this out for the listeners, but I know it's backwards. Cuphead is coming to the Switch with Xbox Live support. So Cuphead was a first-party Microsoft title that they paid for, and helped develop. They're now porting that to the Switch. So, and it's coming with the Microsoft stuff attached. It's native, so it is getting made for the Switch, but it will have an Xbox Live login and stuff like that. So that sort of stuff is happening. Google are going to come along and shake things up, whether they want to, whether they mean to. It's going to happen.
Things are going to get pretty interesting.
Yeah, things are going to change.
As a result.
And they plan to have it live by the end of the year in the 3 biggest regions that they could possibly launch it in. So the big thing that's going to matter is price. What's it going to cost?
What's it going to cost in terms of money and also content as a whole?
Yeah, so they're going to have their own games made for it. They're going to have games come over that are going to be exclusive to it. They're going to have the
Ubisoft
controller.
have had a contribution to that already with the project, whatever.
Yeah,
with,
they did
Odyssey
through Chrome. So what I did find quite interesting is looking at some of the details about the controller. The controller will not connect to your hardware; it will connect to Wi-Fi, so that there's no input lag. The controller will connect straight to the server instead of your desktop.
Well, it connects to your router, won't it?
Well,
it sounds a bit of a gimmick to me. That I can't see how it can be much quicker.
Because it's not having to rely on hardware
it's not
pushing
going
the signal through.
Yeah, it's not going through your computer and then to the internet. It's going straight to the internet.
I could see a lot of syncing issues with that, though.
Yeah.
There
are a lot of,
especially if you got 2 or 3 people.
There are a lot of positive and negatives to the whole idea.
It's a very interesting concept, though, and I think it's going to be something to look out for as well. The controllers look quite good, honestly. They look quite comfortable.
They look okay, but it depends how shitty they're made. I've got the Steam controller, and it feels like just a complete piece of shit.
I think Google are putting a lot of money into this. I think they are funding this. It is
Google, after all, and a project on this scale.
They want to be a major player in the gaming industry, but they don't want to have to waste all the money in R&D and prototyping hardware consoles. So they just went, we've got a shit ton of money. We basically own the internet at this point. So let's use that and just have it stream from like our fucking super servers that are everywhere, and we'll use that to run everything.
I think that's key. The latency thing is quite interesting. They're saying minimum 40 milliseconds. Maximum 40 milliseconds, which I didn't think was particularly low, really. I mean, it's low, but it's not. I only get 120 milliseconds when I'm streaming to the US. Not streaming, sorry. When I'm playing Overwatch on the US server, it's only 120 milliseconds. So
it's still pretty big in terms of games-wise, if I'm honest. Both numbers are pretty big.
40, considering that's just. You're still running the game locally, and you just 40 doesn't seem that bad if they think they can get it to work properly.
They've been working on this for years as well. Like it's been rumored for a long time. So they're only going to announce this when they thought it was capable of doing what they wanted it to do. I don't think Google are being stupid here. I think they're being quite intelligent, and I think that they know that they're onto something here.
There was a gap in the industry for this.
Yeah.
Obviously, stuff like Shadow has been rather successful. If you don't know what Shadow is,
no.
It's a client where you can basically, it's essentially an off-server
VPS, basically.
Yeah. So you can have a desktop streamed to your phone, for example, and you can play Rocket League on your phone if you have like a controller or something plugged in.
So mentioning phones, this Google thing is going to run on everything.
Exactly.
It's not just going to be for your data. It's going to be running to your phones and everything. So
as long as it runs Chrome.
Well, it's a native app as well. Apparently, it's not going to be Chrome. It's native app. So
I thought it said it was Chrome.
I don't think so.
But it could be.
The original concept that they tried towards the end of last year was done through the web browser, but this I think is going to be a native thing. It's not going to be
considering how much RAM Chrome uses itself.
Yeah, I think this is going to be natively run. So yeah, I'm very curious about it, honestly.
There's a couple of things I thought with that. So I think there's going to be the hardware requirement will be higher than what's implied. Just if you look at Chrome OS, and I just did a quick look today, a Chrome box is 500 quid for the newest one, which is an 8th gen i5, I think. So it's quite a lot of money. I mean, that's console price. Yeah, that's probably pushing what you need. You need less than that, but you still do need you do need reasonable hardware to be able to run it. Just to run the actual decoding and putting display it on the screen.
Streaming though, as a whole.
There is an overhead. It's not obviously you don't need a GPU, or you don't need pair of TVs.
You need enough to run the same as what you would need to run a stream at. 1080 or 4K or whatever. You know, like there is a hardware drain doing that. That's for sure.
It just
you
isn't as much.
Yeah.
It just isn't as much as localhost itself.
Yeah. I think it'll be a bigger threat to consoles than it will be to PC, because consoles are all about lowering the bar, where PCs are always about raising the bar. People are always trying to put more and more shit into them, so people spend the money. You don't need to waste thousands of pounds on a PC when you can buy a 4K TV and a Xbox One for £1,000 or whatever. But people would rather buy a monitor that isn't 4K. And admittedly, it'll be a better, higher refresh rate. A graphics card, which is £400.
Yeah, I don't know about that. You think about people that we've spoken to who've come into Discord and stuff, and they've been like, oh, I really wish I could afford like a super expensive PC. Those people could go and pay whatever Google are after, which is probably going to be less than what a console is. Hopefully, if they're going to go charge a ridiculous fee for this, then it's not going to do very well. But if you think like, hey guys, you can buy this for the year for like £100, or you can pay it monthly for the sub to it, because it's going to probably be a subscription service. Let's be real. Sorry, I'm just looking at Twitch chat as well. And then you compare that to what the value would be of a PC. Honestly, like if I could do that and not have to spend another fucking £600 and buying a new GPU at some point, I'm gonna do that. It's cheaper overall. The games are gonna run as good as my displays can show them. You know, that's the intended purpose of it. These games are going to run at the highest possible visual fidelity that they can.
Well, they're not, because they're running at 60 FPS, so that's the highest you're going to get at the moment.
Like frame rate, yeah,
that's shit.
The overall visual
that's shit, isn't it? I mean, welcome to 2010. I mean, that's what consoles are doing. But I've got two 144 hertz monitors here. The one of them is 5 years old.
I'm assuming,
so,
but then
it's
I don't get FPS doesn't, like, as long as I can sit somewhere between 40 and 60, I'm a happy dude. I don't really care.
It's fine for single player games.
Unless you're playing competitive FPS, frames can be fine at 60. Like even stuff like Division and stuff like that, where it isn't competitive, it's more of a go along and stuff like that. It doesn't need to be higher than 60.
I suspect to start with, they won't go really heavy on the competitive to start with.
It's not intended to.
No, I don't think they will touch competitive until it's completely stable. I think you're going to just see a lot of single player or co-op games. I don't think you're going to see anything competitive for a while. I don't think you're going to see Siege. I don't think you're going to see Overwatch. I don't think you're going to see.
The two games aren't even that taxing anyway, to be fair, and you wouldn't play them competitively on, like, you wouldn't say them You wouldn't play them competitively on a phone or anything either, would you? To be fair,
no,
not easily.
The phone thing is a bit bollocks, so isn't it?
It's pretty good, if I'm honest. Like I've using Shadow. I've played GTA on my phone, and it's pretty good. Like, surprisingly.
No, I'm sure it can run, but the whole interface is just.
Oh no, like it's surprising how well it seems to work. Like I was borrowing an Xbox controller, and I was just like, my phone's a small 5.5-inch screen, and the game worked, and everything seemed to be good. So stuff like that, it would be fine, just no matter where you're at, as long as you had a decent internet, then you're good.
Sorry, I missed all of that, Matt, because I was dealing with something with Twitch chat.
Yep. Yeah, just.
It's alright. It'll be on SoundCloud. You should just listen to it back later.
Yeah. Basically, somebody was trying to get us to say something really racist, and
I know.
my brain couldn't figure it out, and I was like, this is probably someone trying to trick us, so I'm just going to deny it.
Good idea, considering it was also blocked anyway.
Yes. So guys, we're into the last 10 minutes, so if there's anything else that we need to talk about, it will wait until next week, because we still have a shit ton of stuff on this page, and we'll see what happens going forward. So for 10 minutes, I'm going to do some Discord housekeeping and stuff. I also want, for the guys that have been paying attention in Twitch, let us know what you think of the new format. How do you think it went? How do you feel about it? Do you think it was good? Do you think we need to tweak it? You know, instead of us having like this sort of what have you done this week and then not having these fixed articles, how do you feel about us just sort of having a couple of things that we like to talk about that we've seen throughout the week? Is that more interesting than what we've done before, or would you rather we went back to what we had sort of 2 or 3 weeks ago? In terms of housekeeping, Bob, I'll mention this just because I'm talking about the Discord in general. We do still have the Minecraft server up and running. It has gone quite quiet recently, but Bob has spent some time building up these bases on the moon to do some capture the flag stuff. So if you're interested, please head over to our Minecraft shares channel and just say to Bob that you want to do it. It's just gonna be like, sorry Ninja, you wouldn't see it, man, because it's only the mods that get to see it, and you don't want to be a mod. So I'll tell you about it in Discord, where I'm not going to get in trouble for it. Yep, Discord, we're tweaking some stuff here and there. We've got the Minecraft server, so come along and see that. We had podcast suggestions and podcast discussions, but we also have a secret room that we talk in about stuff behind the scenes. So I've combined suggestions and discussions into one thing, so you can see the kind of stuff that we're talking about, what we're interested in. Yeah, if you just kind of see that, and you can kind of interact with us there. We've also got Sunday show. We'll be back this week, hopefully. So we'll be back with something. We haven't decided. We haven't really spoken about it yet this week. Next week there'll be no Sunday show because I'm having to work the Sunday. It's Mother's Day, and I work in a restaurant, so we are open. So there's that. Try to think of anything else. Remember that you can get awesome stuff like this. Nelly, you wouldn't have been here. I don't know if you saw it, but I'll show you again for your benefit. That's the stuff that Blue is selling.
There's Matt's face again.
So,
waving twice.
Double Matt.
So yep. Remember Blue Panda UK, and use Misadventure in our store. So yep. That's kind of all I really had for. Oh, the Rocket League tournament. So that was supposed to happen last night, but I asked for closes because I'm kind of quite ill and trying to catch up on sleep and get some stuff sorted out.
I realized that I wouldn't even be able to make it anyway because I'm just
the 25th. Next Monday, the 25th at night, we are aiming to get it going then. It will be streamed live on this channel, so whether I'm involved in a match or I'm just spectating, we're going to have spectator slots open, because I think you can do that with Rocket League. Have some spectator slots open, so like if I'm not playing a match, I'll be in one of the spectator slots. We'll be doing some commentary over other people's games. We're going to do it all sort of, the matches are only 5 minutes, so we'll probably just do like a sort of an hour and a half stream, and we'll work out the teams, but that'll be the idea for Monday night. About 8:30, 9 o'clock we'll be starting on Monday night, hopefully, for that, if I can get everybody on board. If not, we'll spread it over a couple of days and we'll just get the matches done, and we'll be doing that as of Monday the 25th. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, keep it here on Monday, and we'll be doing. Bob, why are you posing for a Queen album again?
Fun.
So Bob's on the dark side of the moon. So yeah, that's kind of it. Rocket League starts next week, and then we'll move on to a new game for a new tournament after that's done. I'm thinking, and I think Bob's eyes are going to light up here, I'm thinking Unreal Tournament after that, because it's free to play.
Yeah, well and truly lit up eyes.
He's a bad Transformers movie. Yeah, apparently he is.
Oh god. Okay.
So right, back up.
Go back.
Back up.
Sorry.
I'll get the taser out. This will be up on SoundCloud in probably an hour or tomorrow. I haven't decided if I can be bothered editing it tonight and letting it corrupt and then leaving it for 2 weeks to upload it, because I'm so fucking pissed off at the fact that it didn't work the first time. And I'm gonna breathe now. So yeah, that's it from me. Bob, anything to add?
Not really. You covered the Minecraft server. It would be nice to get 2 or 3 more people on because like 2 or 3 people were interested.
I'm
But
still game for
that's
doing
really that's really like 3 people is not enough for a CTF because we've got to build the bases up. I made the platforms, I set up the area, put down some basic resources to get folks started, set up a really cool way of getting there and back. I'm hoping my no nukes rule didn't put too many people off. But I kind of want us to actually have a bit of fun. If we just nuke each other, it's going to be over in 10 seconds. You know.
Story of my life. Got to have some fun. It only lasts 10 seconds.
Just into nukes drop.
Yep.
You're so innocent. I don't think you understood that joke.
Perhaps. When I think of nukes, I just think of Gandhi on Civ. So that's all you need to know.
Anyway. Matt,
is Matt old enough to be on this channel?
Matt, it was a sex joke. I'm just putting it out there. It's a stamina sex joke. Okay.
Monka TOS.
Just so you understand.
Banned from Twitch.
So. Yeah. There you go. Matt, could you come back and say your goodbyes, please?
All right. So I don't know if you guys know, but I will not be here next week because.
Oh, you haven't told us. Thanks for that.
I have not, apparently. So a concert that I was meant to be attending has been changed, rescheduled. Playing at, rather, because I've got a piece in it. It's been rescheduled, and it's literally next Wednesday, so... Yeah.
Okay, Nelly.
Just tell them you're busy.
Nelly.
Just tell them you can't make it.
Step up, Nelly. That's you. You're in next week. That's you. So Nelly's on the podcast next week. Cool. We've got a guest sorted out. Anything else, Matt?
But yeah, like if you
Nelly's realization.
If anyone has wait.
We all know she's in. She'll do it. It's fine.
But yeah, if any of you guys have or planning to get Division 2, I would implore you to get it because it's.
I may get it.
It is worth your money. All £40. And yeah, if you wanna play with me, then hit me up on Discord, and there we are. That is it.
Phil?
I will be live on Friday. That is all.
I'll be streaming again tomorrow. I have no idea what it's going to be, but it will be something. Other than that, I have streamed Metro before, but when I'm going back through it, I don't like to, because I'm trying to do the achievements. It's not a very good stream because it's bitty. My uncommunity, that's the one where you don't have to talk in. I've kind of got stuck with it a little bit. I was trying to do some work with a bot that will automatically sort out roles. If anyone knows JavaScript and wants to help, you could let me know. Oh, you know JavaScript, do you, Bob?
I know a little bit of JavaScript. Mostly Python, but it's JavaScript is the other thing I know reasonably well. So we can catch up some point tomorrow.
Code project for you to work on, Bob.
Yep. Well, I'm always working on code projects.
Yeah, but this is like something cool. Like not anything else isn't cool, but you know what I mean. Like it's something to help fill out. It gets you involved with some of the community stuff.
It's help everyone out. It's to help everyone out. It's not just me.
But it's your project, so it is essentially helping you out.
Initially you.
Yes.
All right. Yes, and I will appreciate it, Bob. Thank you.
I was going to say thank you to the nice man who's helping you out for the
code.
He wants to rip out his hair most of the time when he's trying to do these things.
I don't rip it.
We'll see you live on the podcast next week, Nelly.
Yeah, no. Where was I? Oh yes, I was talking about Mike. Right, so I've not been really doing very much with it at the moment. It's just showing one streamer, that's John, in the right channel as well. actually streaming a podcast.
Yeah, so weirdly, it changed my role, so I had to undo it and then do it again. I don't know what I can't remember what it changed it to, but it changed it from talk shows and podcasts to something else, so I had to untick the one I wanted and then put it back on.
Yeah, it might have been that I changed it when I was fiddling with something. I might have been testing something. The bot, when it's live, which currently runs on my computer, I just got the code from some guy on the internet, so it's probably just feeding my entire hard drive to his hard drive, one bit at a time.
Wow.
But there you go.
How very careful.
Early BitTorrent.
I'm uncharacteristically careless of me to do that with my main rig. Eventually, it'll either have to run on a Raspberry Pi, so it can be on all the time, or run on a VPS. Raspberry Pi will be cheaper, I should think. Where are you going, Bob? He's sinking into darkness.
In the 10 years that I've known him, I've never known this man to be able to sit still.
What's sitting still? But
he's got to be fiddling with something. Like he just like. Oh,
yeah, no, I'm terrible.
It's a personality, you know. It happens. People are like that.
I have a condition. I don't know what it is.
You don't want my answer to that question, not while we're on stream. I'm not allowed to say the things I normally say, that we normally say to each other on stream.
As I said,
breaching TOS. Yeah.
We'll leave that.
Yep.
We'll leave that for behind.
Anything else, Phil?
Just if anyone hasn't already joined that community and is a streamer or likes to follow small streamers, then go along. I am hopefully in the next week, but it'll probably be more like 2, going to start trying to ramp up the membership a bit. I was hoping to get the bot working, but I think I'm going to have to make do without until I can get that sorted. I think it's ready-ish enough to start trying to get a bit more traction with it.
You've got the bare bones, you've got enough there for it to work, so yeah, get it out there.
Yep, I think I'll do that. So, as I said, if anyone wants to pop along, give us a shout. Yeah, that's about it, really. Have a good week.
Okay, so our closing line, as always, thanks to Mr. Misunderstood Canadian, which is, if you take the wrong path, you may truly end up on another misadventure. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.